For more on President Biden greenlighting Ukraine, firing U.S.-supplied long-range missiles into Russia, let's bring in South Dakota Republican Senator Mike Rounds. He sits on the Senate's Armed Services as well as Intelligence Committees. Senator, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Give us your take on this decision by the Biden administration and the president himself.
Well, thanks for the opportunity to visit with you this evening. Look, this is just simply too late in the game. It should have been done a long time ago, but the Biden administration has been slow walking a lot of the aid that's been authorized in a bipartisan fashion from Congress since the beginning. And unfortunately, one item that you mentioned earlier in your broadcast today, you indicated that a number of the long-range weapon systems that Russia was using, the bombers, the glide bombs and so forth, they're probably out of range of the ATACMS at this point. We've given them enough time. They probably remove those back beyond the 200-mile range. That's unfortunate. But what this does do, in my opinion, is provide an opportunity for more negotiating points on behalf of the incoming administration. I think the fact that Biden has allowed this to happen now with the limited resources that Ukraine does have left with regard to these ATACMS, at least it will make Russia think twice about the amount of damage that could be done in the Kursk region. And I suspect that that may very well be the area in which they've been given permission to use the ATACMS, the long-range weapon systems.
Well, Vladimir Putin has been stomping his feet and saying that a decision like this would bring on, terrible consequences for the United States and for Ukraine. Do you think he's bluffing?
I think he's going to do the best to be the bully whenever he can. But I think the fact that his folks right now have not shown themselves to be exactly the best military team, and they found out that Ukraine is truly a separate country and that they want their freedom. America has had a history of backing people that want to be free. Mr. Putin clearly has nuclear weapons. He has continued to threaten to use those nuclear weapons, but he also understands that if he were to ever use the nuclear weapons, his administration, his time would be very, very limited. I don't believe that he would use them, but nonetheless, we have to be prepared for that possibility. I think that's one of the reasons why President Biden has been hesitant to do so, but he has slow walked so much of this that it's been a case of where the suffering that has occurred in Ukraine and the loss of life there has been ongoing simply because we have not given Ukraine the tools to be able to push Russia out of their country. And Russia is definitely the aggressor in this particular case. Yeah. I think this is the right move, and I think it will give the incoming administration, the president-elect, the opportunity to use one more tool if he's able to negotiate with Putin, one more tool that he can use to say, enough is enough. You need to find a peaceful solution, one that's acceptable to all of us, the United States and Ukraine.
So you agree with General Teichert, then, that this actually puts the Trump administration in a better position as they take power?
I do. And in fact, I was rather surprised to hear just how much he had to say about it, and I couldn't agree more with what he was talking about. The one area that I disagreed with is that I don't think we'll be able to stop the glide bombs, because I suspect with the length of time it took the Biden administration to come around and to allow Ukraine to use these, most of those systems have probably been moved out of the 200-mile range that the ATACMS have.
Let's talk a little bit about the incoming Trump administration. It's been pointed out that more than 20 cabinet appointments have been made. How much you as a senator are obviously going to be part of the advise and consent approval of those cabinet choices. Are there any that you have questions about, reservations about?
Well, I think we always start out, regardless of Republican or Democrat, we always start out with the approach that the president gets the benefit of the doubt with the individuals that he nominates. I took that approach during the previous Trump administration. I took that approach during the Biden administration, and I look forward to taking that approach with the new incoming administration as well. Once we have said that, though, we do have a constitutional responsibility for advise and consent. It is a process which is time-honored. The tradition is there, but more importantly, it is a check and balance that the founders of this country felt very, very strongly about. And so you will see the opportunity for members to, first of all, get to know the individuals themselves, Second of all, to bring them in and have hearings where these folks can express themselves, share their views, and so forth. And then after that, the full Senate, the ability to express their point of view as well. I think the vast majority of these nominees are going to fly through. And the fact that they've started so early is a really good thing, so that on January 3rd, when we come back into session, we can get started right away with the hearings themselves, because we can't do anything to actually approve them in the Senate until the new administration takes place, until the new president is sworn in. But we can get all of that out of the way in that 2-week period of time, a lot of it. So we're really way farther ahead now than what we were during the first Trump administration.
Your own governor, Kristi Noem, is nominated to be Homeland Security Secretary. Do you see any problems with her taking that job?
I really don't. I think the hearings will be colorful, but I think for the most part, I think she's going to be able to move through without any problem. That's my thoughts anyway, and only time will tell. But all of these hearings give all the members, Republicans and Democrats, the opportunity to ask these individuals under oath questions, and so all of them will have an opportunity to do that. And, we look forward to getting Kristi confirmed.
South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds. I love your state, by the way. Senator, thank you.
I do, too. Thanks.